Okay, should be live. Hello, hello. Just waiting for YouTube to load as always. Alright, I think we're good now. Alright, I think we're good now. Okay, there we go, yeah. I was waiting to listen to myself, okay. So yeah, hello. Been a while. 10 days, I think. Um, let's just say I've made a lot more progress than expected. Yeah, I didn't realize. Like, I've been busy with school for things, so I haven't been on as much. But yeah, we popped off, surprisingly. You guys have done way too much? Yeah. Also, Larbear. Missed you last week. Thank you. But yeah. Jesus. I'm gonna have to walk through everything slowly. But yeah, there's been Scorpion just hard crashed. But there's been a big progress. So let's start off. At the end of last stream, I was like struggling for LUV energy hatch, right? The main issue was we were missing this stupid Samarium rods. Or yeah, this one. Because if we looked at energy hatch for LUV, which is what we were going for last time, this thing uses that, right? And that was what we were missing. It required a whole processing line, especially for Samarium. We also saw that in the quest book. Right. No, it was an IV tab. Yeah, this whole line. You can still see it's incomplete because this line is specifically using monazite. And it's using like, crushed monazite, you digest that, and it goes into a whole ugly line. We decided to do something else. So this is an interesting part where you have other options. It's very similar. I honestly don't really know what the biggest difference is, but we went with Bastonite line, Bastonite. I don't know how to pronounce that, but yeah, I'll just quickly go through it. But you have this ore, which we can get a lot from meteors. It's not hard to get, but once you crush it down, you have the digester again. So it's a similar route. You digest it with nitric acid, and then you use that to crack it with steam. Then you mix it with some other thing. Then you go through a dissolution tank. But that's basically what we did here. So I'll slowly go through it, but digester. Yeah, again, all of these machines we've pretty much used everywhere else. The only two machine is this digester and the dissolution tank. So it looked pretty bad, but it's really not bad. It's the same thing we've done before, just, do it again. But yeah, you have to digest it. This thing is a little different though. But yeah, we digested through all this line, and then there's one step. I think it was this one. Yeah, I stopped here. So it has a ratio of 10 to 1. What it means is you have to have exactly 10 to 1 fluid in the recipe, otherwise it breaks. It legit just stops. It doesn't do it. So I'm not sure how other people do it, but I went with my solution. I basically made a recipe here using 10 to 1 ratio, right? And then I have a subnet here handling this special recipe. So it's the same thing I did with assembly line, except using this now. That has storage buses on for fluids and item. And yeah, over here is the next step for it. Essentially, like you do this, get this. This is trash, by the way. I literally says useless. And then you sift it. And here I have... Oh, I don't have a crafting card. I think I just did a thing here. Yeah, the maintainers. What these do is it just crafts items if you don't have certain amount. So yeah, this is the thing that uses the dissolution tank. Oh, I just told it, hey, always try to stock it up. That way, if we're running out, it recrafts it here, right? So this is kind of a passive. It's a weird way of doing it, but it always ensures it has a 10 to 1 ratio. It does use up a recipe slot most of the time though, right here. But I'm fine with that. We can have a garbage one made for it. And after that is pretty much pretty easy. Just sift EBF a few times, run it through some machines, mix it, LCR, centrifuge. Sorry, my throat is not doing too well. But yeah, at the end of that, well, not at the end of that, but middle steps gives some interesting items too, actually. It gives rutile here. Actually, I never saw how many rutile we have. Oh my god, we have a lot of rutile. I never realized it gave rutile until recently, but yeah, a lot of steps here, right? I'll just speedrun it. Centrifuge that. Oh, I think I just missed it. Yeah, centrifuge that. We also get cerium. We've been using a good amount here and there. And then here we get samaric dust and neodymium dust. I actually didn't check. I think we had just left that as not processed. Oh yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, we have that byproduct too. We can which product? Oh, I can't speak. We can process. And then this thing is what's giving us samarium by a few processing line steps. And we sifted for samarium. Yeah, it looks bad, but you just do it by step, and yeah, it's finished. And one of the last step is like somewhere here. I forget. Oh no, this is the last step. Yeah, samaric dust into samarium. And yeah, that's how we've been getting our samarium. It's not the fastest, but it gives us enough to do stuff. It's probably made like 2,000-ish so far, so really not bad at all, right? It's just constantly running. If we need it to be faster, we can always increase energy hatches on machines, right? So they run faster. There's probably a few bottlenecks here and there, which I could fix. I've just been lazy. But yeah, it's been running. And that gave us access to LUV energy hatch, which I wish I showed last time. But starting with that, we started unlocking a lot of other stuff. So yeah, the first thing I did was toss that onto the circuit assembly. Or sorry, this is not the circuit assembly. This is just the assembly line. But yeah, we got access to LUV thing. I did also make this bigger energy hatch, or data hatch, so we can just toss everything in here. But we did go ahead and start scanning for all the LUV stuff. You also see some ZPM stuff here. We'll eventually get to that. But yeah, a good amount of progress. Really good amount of progress. After getting the LUV stuff though, the main issue after that was, we can look at the quest book for it. So yeah, that essentially got us to finish all of these quests. There's a few things that we needed to work towards. One of them is circuit assembly line over here. And that's similar to assembly line, except circuit assembly line. And it's like the scary recipe I've seen for circuits here and there, all of these. And it's finally come to using that thing. But essentially what it is if we look at one of the circuits, we use maybe like the quantum processor. So this is the recipe we've been doing before, using 111, 12, 12, 16 to make 1. And there's also a circuit assembly recipe. I believe this is actually not extra efficient. Yeah, this might be the same cost. Let's look at something else, sorry. Crystal processor. Yeah, this one. So this is actually the next line of circuits. The only way to make it is either using this, which is ridiculously expensive. You see it's 36 of the new ones. We have not made this one before. But the thing is, all of the wraps are 16 of the items. If you use circuit assembler, you use 6 and 6 and 12 each. But here you use 1 each to make 16. So all the items here are 6 times efficient. This one's 6 times efficient. They're all 6 times efficient. Basically, you're gonna have to use this thing. And the thing about this is, unlike the assembly line, you have to have one assembly line per circuit. We did go ahead and make a few over here. Yeah, this is not the greatest spot because we need a lot more. But for now, we have put it here. Yeah. This one's using crystal processor. It's hard to see. It's in the Wyla at top. This one's for the next tier of that, the tier after that. It's a little hard to explain, and hopefully it's not too confusing. Essentially, it's a more efficient recipe for all the future circuits. Plus, it batch crafts, which is pretty good, you know? make 16 at a time. But we did get access to whole this line. And yeah, let's actually go into this advanced SMD stuff. So this is new. Before we were using all the yellow, I guess yellow on the side SMDs, I'm gonna call that. But these were not too bad, right? They're just using basic metal stuff. Some uses platinum, but you get a lot. So they weren't too bad. So advanced SMD is kind of like an upgraded version almost. It also unlocks, you know, the better circuit recipes. Like here, you can only use the advanced ones. Ignore this recipe, this is UV. Which is actually after ZPM, so it's not like we don't have access to it, it's just we shouldn't. Hey, so ever thought about streaming this more often? Yes, but I'm busy with school. That's my main issue. But yeah, advanced SMDs. Some of them aren't too bad. Yeah, this one just uses platinum. It's like similar to previous recipes. This one uses indium. Yeah, indium, which is actually pretty annoying. I'll get into that. This one uses PBI, so this is like next tier of rubber, which we started making. We had access to it in IV. We just started passiving recently. And then this one is HSSE. We've had access to it. It's just another mix of something else. Samarium, so there's another use of samarium. And then this last one, yeah, it's also similar. It's not too bad at all. Just similar stuff we just saw. And yeah, that's basically all the upgraded stuff. And then the wrap, it's just assembly with some plastic, right? Polyethylene is plastic. But during third semester, yeah, we're all gonna be busy. But yeah, that gave us access to the new circuits. Main thing is though, I guess, yeah, I should explain how these guys work. So you don't just make them and toss in the mats. Like we see here, these are imprinted with those special circuits, right? And how do you imprint them? Well, you have to at least make one circuit. If I look at imprint, this one, yeah, it's a little hard to tell, but there's like 16 pages of all these, right? Each one is crafted using any circuits of your choice, and this is what you're gonna make in the circuit assembly. You only need to do this once per one circuit assembly, but it's like essentially you're making a chip, right? This circuit is only going to work for this circuit, and then you craft it into that. And then once you toss those guys into the circuit assembly lines, they will get the recipe for that circuit only. And that's kind of how you go about doing circuits like that. So likely in the future, and I think how it goes, it's how it goes for all the future circuits. You're gonna always have to at least make one circuit the really awful way, like we saw with the crystal processor, right? Before I could make this, you see how it has a circuit imprint now there? I had to at least make one, slice it into imprint, and then we could actually make it using this better recipe. So it's an interesting way they handle this thing. Essentially, like, every time you want to upgrade a circuit, you have to do one of like these awful circuit assembly recipes, yeah, circuit assembly recipes, and then get access to the multi-block. Yeah, we probably should. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. Just hit the loot bag, yeah, 5 man. There actually is, I think, all the circuits. It's like really small chance, but they're all in there. Maybe not the higher tier ones. I've actually never checked. Oh yeah, they are. But yeah, we're not gonna hit those. If we do though, we'll probably use it. But yeah, the thing is, quest books start giving less quest bags. Like ZPM, I don't think we've even gotten a bag somewhere. Yeah, there's like no bags. They start being stingy. Rightfully so. But yeah, we'll get into that in a bit. Yeah, so circuit assembly line, pretty cool, right? We actually did that after fusion. I kind of skipped something here. this fancy little multi-block here, but we'll get to that. Yeah, so that was LUV whole circuit part done. There is this another thing though, but that's gonna come after fusion, so we'll talk about that soon. So yeah, our next issue was, well, starting up fusion, and I can actually show the recipe here. I don't know why I walked here. I should just teleported. Yeah, I've been using this thing more often. All of these guys are recipes to, recipes to get the minimum blocks for each multi-block. And it's been nice to just kind of request the whole multi-block at once instead of doing one by one, right? So for like a Volcanus, I just request casing and one of this thing. And this is for 4 setup at once. Yeah, this makes it really easy to just request multi-blocks on the go. And we also did that for, yeah. Oh, that's Fusion Mark II. Where's Fusion Mark 1? Oh, I think Fusion Mark 1, we did it by hand. Well, we have Fusion Mark 2 here, you can kind of see. Yeah, I think Fusion Mark 1 we did by hand because it was like kind of separate. We were trying to just scrap up materials for it. Well, I guess I'll just show all the items for Fusion, yeah. So, Fusion, how does it work? Well, it's this thing here. And it looks really fancy, even the interface is fancy, but it's basically a big multi-block that takes 2 fluids and turns it into 1 new fluid using the power of fusion. Yeah, you fuse two atoms. In this case, it's helium-3 and deuterium, and you get some cool helium plasma out of it. It's quite expensive though. At that point, you already finished Neotech? Yeah, I know, right? It's quite expensive though, because all of these are LEV machine casing. That's not even the bad part. It's just inside this thing. I don't want to turn it off because I don't want to turn it off. But inside this thing is 32 of superconducting coil blocks, and these are the expensive part. Because these guys use 64 of superconductor LUV wires per one. There are better recipes. It like goes up a tier on the superconductor wires, halves it, and you still get the same one, which is actually kind of interesting. I actually didn't check the recipe. We might already have access to maybe even this one. Let me check real quick. Oh, no, we can't because of this. Close though. Wait, we actually might be able to make this. Oh, neutronium. Neutronium's actually not too far too. I will get into that, but yeah. It's pretty expensive because it's superconductor 2x, meaning one of this is 64 blocks, not blocks, ingots of those wires. Yeah, it also uses 1 LEV pump 4, so it's just a lot of LEV stuff, right? Even the samarium here, and the iridium. This is a alloy of iridium. But it's pretty expensive, essentially. Thankfully, the ingot itself isn't too bad. It's just a mix of, yeah, basic stuff. Indium is the more annoying part, and this is the second time I've mentioned indium in this in this stream. Yeah, we'll get to that. It's quite the bottleneck. It's really annoying, and I guess I have mentioned it in the past before. The setup was sitting here for indium. It was the thing that used a bunch of aluminum and stuff. Yeah, 36 aluminum dust for 1. And then it also used galena and sphalerite ores. A pretty annoying amount. 27 or 9 ore for 1 dust. It's pretty bad. And the worst part is... Oh, yeah, we are Larber. I'll get to that. How is power now? Insane, insane. We'll get to all of it. It's just gonna take a bit. Yeah, galena ore is quite expensive. The only way to really get it is spamming EV assemblers or this one. It's HV, but it uses IV circuit, so it's not free. That was a way of doing it. Yeah, I thought it was pretty bad, so I decided to make something else for it, and it's this whole line over here. Don't make this. Don't ever make this setup. It's a trap. It looks good at start, but once you set it up, you realize how slow and how power hungry it is compared to other methods. Yeah, I'll just speedrun it basically, but instead of using galena, you have crushed ore, right? Crushed sphalerite. You still need sphalerite, but sphalerite is actually pretty easy. It's cheap on the meteors. Yeah, just LV emitters. Yeah, it's a funny setup, as Scorpion said, but you take this crushed ore, you crush it using this special machine, which is also giga expensive. And you take that milled thing, you mix it with some weird dust. This is cheap, so that's not too bad. You need pine oil for it, which is also cheap. It's just pine wood. You get this thing, and then with 4 buckets, you get a whole stack of indium. Looks great, right? Well, the thing is, each step takes like a whole 2 minutes. Plus this massive thing. That's the step that makes this weird froth. It's 6 minutes, and it's also very power hungry. Plus, just other things. It just, I don't know. I don't know why I made this. We did make it at least, but yeah, it's just not worth. It did at least give us like a 2000-ish indium. But the thing is, when you get a fusion reactor, it doesn't only make helium plasma, it also makes many other things. Helium plasma. Helium plasma is one of the things that fusion reactor can make. Here, right? But it can also make... I thought I saw it. What? Wait, is it Mark II? No, I could have sworn there was an indium for it. Oh, give me a second. I could have sworn... Oh yeah, here it is. Wait, it's Mark III. Oh, maybe it was worth it. Oh, it was worth it. Okay, you know what? I think indium wasn't worth it. Someone told me that you can make indium in fusion, but it's Mark III, so we're pretty far from it. Okay, never mind. You know what? I think this was worth it. I'm just changing my mind. Okay, this was worth it then. I didn't realize indium was still really far away. Yeah, once we get to Mark III fusion though, which is kind of far, we'll have access to better indium, but it needs a time torch. Hell no. Yeah. Yeah, we're making indium out of sphalerite only now. That's the good part. That's kind of the gist of this whole setup. The gist is we don't need galena. And that's good enough. That's all we really need. It gives us passive indium. That's all we care about. Okay, so that's pretty much all we needed for the fusion. So we got fusion going now. And the main reason you get fusion in LUV is, well, access to helium plasma, which is great power source. But you also get Europium. And yeah, it kind of tells you here to make a Mark II reactor and a bunch of new stuff. Yeah, unlock ZPM and other stuff, you need Europium. And to get Europium right here, you have to fusion neodymium and hydrogen. Well, hydrogen's free. Neodymium, we're getting a lot from meteors. I think we're already low on it. Yeah, I've been processing it a lot for Europium, but yeah, that's kind of what we did. We did already stock up on a bunch of Europium. It doesn't take long to craft. Yeah, it's 1.6 seconds. It's just that it only makes 16 at a time. 16 like milliliter. It's not the greatest, but hey, it's still a good source. We've been kind of turning it off and on for helium plasma or Europium. That's kind of why we have a good amount of both. Yeah, it's slow. But yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah. Anyways, Europium. That's what we used for this thing now. Yeah, I kind of skipped over it earlier, but to make all the circuits, we were right here. Yeah, we were also using this green thing, right? And that's honestly the worst part about this stuff here. We don't have steel. How? What the? Hold up. That's an emergency. How? Why are these guys saying EV? I guess we'll just add a steel recipe temporarily. That's really weird. It's 11, right? Oh no, we probably want to do this recipe, so I'm gonna just say use, is there carbon? Yes. We don't have slot for that. Let me fix. Not that one, wrought iron. Here, Scorpion, you can... Oh, we need it to be without 11, so I'll probably just use this one. Fixed. Yeah. What was I at? Yeah, to get Europium, we did that. And with Europium, we were able to make all the circuit parts. And yeah, this thing's a little more annoying. You gotta laser this thing. And to get this is blast furnace with emerald plate on this raw chip. And to get raw chip, it's an interesting loop. So first you have to use emerald to make the raw chip, but it's a really bad 10% chance using Europium. But there's also another recipe where you can use raw chip parts to kind of repair it back into the chips. And how you do that is you use a chip, you forge hammer it, break it into chip parts, and then you basically turn it back into a whole chip. Scorpion did already set it up, but yeah, I think we're doing that somewhere. Oh, that has a maintenance issue. Yeah, we're doing that somewhere here. Yeah, right here, where he's just looping it back and forth using Europium. Yeah, you don't really want to auto-craft this. You should always passive this. It's a weird setup. Anything with percent is pretty hard to set up. Especially something that like loops like this, right? So we did passive that. That way we don't have to worry about that anymore. And yeah, I think that's almost everything in LUV caught up, right? After all that is pretty much all this part done. There is another thing we were missing for fusion though. Yeah, it's actually 100% chance, but there is still a self loop, so we don't want to automate it. Yeah. Yeah, for fusion, I think I missed on Naquadah. Yeah, that was something we haven't processed yet. I did mention it a few times in the past, but we had to eventually process it. And we did actually have Naquadah ores before, so we were able to get like a bunch of these pre-ore byproducts. What do you call them? Pre-ore processing states. Like you have to process this thing now. But to do that, you can either do this trash recipe where you turn 2 dust into 1 nugget. And that's an awful way. You do have to do it in IV though if you want better wafers, which we actually did a few times. This is not the worst if you have access to meteors, right? Because technically ores are free. You just get a ton from meteors. It's just not the greatest. You do have to set this up for sure. Another way is you take this weird acid, which is actually pretty annoying to make, but you turn 1 dust into 1,000, and then you centrifuge a 10,000 into 9,000. It's only 10 to 9, so not much loss. Then using that, you do another step here, so a small bit of loss. You have to use this special acid. This does get fully looped later down the line, so you don't need to constantly make it. That's the good part. But yeah, you do this, get this, then you have to run through this weird neutron activator. But you get another thing out of here again. You also get Naquadah oxide mixture of dust again, which goes back to the first step. And other stuff. And then this rich dust is finally where we turn it into this pretty much final step of Naquadah. I don't know how to pronounce it. this dust. And that's where we have left it for now, right here. Because surprisingly, this turns into dust really fast. Yeah, 3 to 1 in like 5 seconds. Or you can cook it in 2 seconds into a Naquadah ingot. Will you hit episode 50? Probably. If we were going for Stargate, yeah, but I'll talk about that later. Yeah. Either that, or we can just turn it into the silicon fuels pretty fast. But yeah, we have left that there for now. The neutron activator is an interesting multi-block. It's a bit different from the rest. It has this kinetic energy that can build up, which we're using somewhere here. I forgot where. Ah! Okay. Falling through the void there. Where is it? Okay, it's right here. Yeah, you feed it power, it builds up on energy. The thing is, if the power's too high, the energy's too high, it'll explode. Plus, the recipes themselves actually had... Where was it? Oh, it's one of these steps. I've already lost it. Yeah. These recipes have a minimum and maximum. You have to kind of balance it between. Otherwise, the recipe fails. At least they have a helper with that, though. This little block here. It sends a redstone signal based on the EV. That's what they call it. Some weird thing. I forgot what it's called, but... yeah, we're doing that to kind of turn this guy on and off. And this guy's the one that receives power from the bottom. That way we kind of balance it between 220-ish, because it kind of goes up and down from that range, right? This does constantly use power, but it's not much. That's kind of the worst part about it, but we're not too worried about that. Yeah, this is just the whole Naquadah line basically. All of the stuff does the steps I just showed, and that's really it. I'm not gonna go through each step again because I mean, I think at this point it's kind of obvious. All the ore processing has some pretty special things, right? But it's using the same machines we've seen before, like the EBF, LCR, and the centrifuging. LCR has been used a ton though, the chemical reactors. It's kinda getting a little overwhelming, but once you start separating them out, it's not too bad. It's pretty bad. Yeah. But we have this whole thing here. Yeah, that got us Naquadah. That's pretty much all of it. I feel like I condensed down this whole line in like, you know, a short bit. In reality, it took a bit. Obviously, not everything here is free, you know. I mean, most of the LCR parts are free at this point, but stuff like the new machines, they aren't too cheap. Like, we can just look at it real quick. Because, yeah, this one actually is special too. You don't craft it in like a crafting table or assembler. It uses precise assembler. Yeah, this is another thing that was a pretty pain to get to. I have mentioned it in last stream where, you know, I thought we could make it, but we were missing something for it. And that was a it's like M200. Yeah, CM200 steel ingot. This one I said was like tricky here, right? Where it looks like you can make it now, but you can't make the dust. You have to do this recipe using ZPM. And that was kind of the goal of the last stream, trying to get this, getting 2 LUV hatches, right? So we can overclock to ZPM. So another thing I did when we got the LUV energy hatch was get this ASAP. Because the precise assembler, which is actually set up over here, it's pretty sick. Yeah, it's already crafting all the stuff. But yeah, it's crafting all the SMDs. What this is a multi-block assembler that has parallel. And we've kind of seen the power of multi-block, you know, before. Like, this is for the mixer. This is for a bunch of other stuff like lading, compressing. They're like insane, doing like 4 recipes at once, maybe like 300% faster. This is the same thing. It can do assembly recipes that much faster, and like certain number of parallel. I forgot, but another thing it can do is it can either go between assembler mode or I'm gonna not do it on that one. I'm gonna do it on this one. Yeah, it has assembler mode or precise mode. And yeah, this thing uses precise mode, which is kind of why I had to build this thing in the first place. The assembler is like a bonus. Most recipes don't have precise. That's kind of a good thing. Yeah, you can only see 16 pages. In the future, we'll need a lot more, but for now, it's fine. Yeah. This thing is interesting though, because assemblers, the main annoying issue with them was you had to have a multiple assemblers if you wanted to do a various like circuit recipes, right? So like we have this mixer here, for example, where, you know, you have 1, 9, 2, 4. It can handle recipes that use these circuits. Assemblers, it was a little more annoying because they're not too cheap to spam. And the multi-block is really good because you can separate out recipes like this, right? Where you have this one for mixer number 1, this one for mixer number 2, this one for that, and so on, right? Don't ask why there's a 13 there. But assembler is like the precise assembler is kind of the same. This is a little different way of going about it though compared to those guys. And that's because most assembler recipes have a fluid in them. And the thing about these hatches or the buses are, you know, they only take item. And then there's the fluid hatches. If I can find one somewhere. Yeah, right? That has the fluid in them, right? There's no hatch that can take both item and fluid. You have to separate it. And the easiest way I saw handling that, at least from kind of what I've been experimenting with, is doing this setup here. So it's a whole bunch of subnet. Essentially, it's a whole bunch of subnet, but we can see here, there's a hatch that can take both. Okay, well, it's gated in UV. But we can see here a bunch of recipes, and these are all recipes with fluid. And it's very tiny subnet. It's literally all within this one block. It has an interface to take all the items from the recipe. It has a fluid storage bus on this tank, and the item storage bus on the bus with the circuit. This one is no circuit in particular, but the other ones have like 1, then we named it number 1. This one has 3, named it 3, and so on. But all of the fluid storage tanks go into the tiny tanks here, then they get piped into input hatch. So it's kind of weird thing, but well, I think it's good enough. Like I don't know, it's interesting. I didn't really look up how other people have done it. I'm sure they have their own special setups, but this is how I did mine. I think it's pretty clean. I like how it looks. This happens to be 2 next to each other. I did make a second one at a certain point because we were running out of spot. And then we also have recipes here on the side for stuff that doesn't use fluid. Right? So they're just a simple slap-on interface on an input bus. These are simpler. There are very rare cases where we have a recipe conflict. But from what I've seen, it hasn't happened now. There was something we had to fix earlier with one of these guys, but it's a different issue. Yeah, this has been working pretty well. That did get us the access to making one of these guys after that. Yeah, this is quite the recipe, let's just say. Get you to do some really weird stuff. But once we got that, we had access to Naquadah processing. Oh, don't look at that. That's super future stuff. Yeah, oh, this one too. Oh my god. LUV with like all the weird molten ingots. And these are like all the weird new alloys we have been making. Bunch of steps. Yeah. It looks bad, but at least autocrafting, you know, does it for us. So it's not too bad. Yeah, neutron activator, that wasn't too bad. And another thing, I think it's the middle thing in the middle. Middle thing in the middle. Wow, that's a word. What's it called? Yeah, the speeding pipe casings was also kind of annoying. Actually, now that I look at it, it's free now. It's just IV circuits, but it was kind of annoying. And then, yeah, that's basically all that. I bet this one was kind of annoying too, a neutron sensor. It's been a while since I made it now, but yeah. Just autocraft everything. I don't want to do this by hand, right? And yeah, that's kind of how it's been at this point. We're trying to autocraft everything now, pretty much. That way we don't have to hand make it again. And that's the whole Naquadah line. I don't think there's really anything else to go over here, right? The lab has been expanding. I did name this place Lab. You can see. Oh, I guess the catwalk is new too. It's been so long, I've forgotten I've added this. I don't think it was in stream last time. I added it because I thought it'd be kind of cool. I think I saw it in Threefold Space too. He did it somewhere. And I thought I really liked how it looked, where you're like a little above the machines, right? And you have these extra side places. But yeah, they kind of look nice. Essentially, this whole area is kind of complete now. We have to expand out. There is floor 2, which I already shown multiple times in the stream, but it's already getting full. Hi, have you dropped the FTV speedrun? Yeah, Neotech is dropped, mostly because it was getting less fun and I was almost finished with it anyways. Lab 2, yeah, it's mostly this whole line, which I already talked about. And then the fusion stuff, which is cool. I should probably talk about how we're making power with fusion now. So one main thing about fusion is you can also craft Europium, but helium plasma, right? And helium plasma, there's 2 ways of making power with it. If I can grab it here. Oh, it's too fast. Oh, I grabbed it. Yeah, helium plasma. you use helium-3 and deuterium. Thankfully, these are pretty cheap to make, just hydrogen. And helium-3 is from processing end stone, so it's not too bad. But after you get helium plasma, there's two ways. You can either just toss it in this, plasma generators, which are, it's the same good old machines. It's the same multi-block styles we've seen before using a turbine, right? Toss some turbine in, give it some fuel. But there's a different way. Like, this looks like the best way, right? You just toss that in that fuel and you get that back. But if you look here, you can use helium plasma and a ton of water to make supercritical steam. And that's kind of what we're doing right here. It's expensive at tungsten steel. It uses like 2,000 or something. But it's kind of worth. You use a bit of helium plasma to make supercritical steam, which I'll start calling SC steam. You don't get superheated steam, it's SC. But with supercritical steam, we can then... Oh, I don't think I can show the recipe. I don't think it exists. I'll just show it. It's the easiest way to show things. Yep, right here. We can turn all these turbines on, which are supercritical turbines. Yeah, SC steam turbines. To make us a casual 2 million EU per tick. That's not too bad, right? I think last time we were making like 120,000 using the XL turbines we had right here, right? Yeah, this guy. We're still using it, but it's like it's kind of outdated. There was a fast mode for this thing, which we have swapped to. Yeah, you see it's making 244k. But it was far not enough. And yeah, using helium plasma to turn it into SC steam. So I think from what I heard, essentially triples the power you get from helium plasma compared to just tossing it into one of these guys. So yeah, we're making pretty good power. If we weren't tripling it, we'd only be making, I don't know, like 700k. But because we're tripling it, we're getting a lot more. It's really good. Really, really worth doing. I know they nerfed it recently, but it's still good. You're probably still gonna be doing all the fusion stuff anyways. Yeah, these guys weren't the fastest to make. SC steam turbine. I think the slowest part about making a bunch of these are, the Marcy M200. Yo, what's up, Bass? And yeah, I did show it earlier again, but uses Samarium Mar M200, which is actually cheap, and some fluid, which is also cheap again. Really just the cooking time, right? ZPM 300 seconds. Yeah, we need a ton of that. I think in the future we are gonna upgrade to the XL version, but we're fine for now. There's also another thing I should talk about. So while we were doing all of this stuff, there was really annoying issue of maintenance, right? The thing is, GT machines can randomly break down. We saw earlier with this tiny thing here, where it had a something is stuck issue, right? Oh, you just saw it for a brief bit, but because they can break down randomly, there's like upgrades for maintenance hatches, which I think I explored last stream too, shortly. Yeah, the auto maintenance hatch. It's quite expensive. I don't know why it's so expensive, but it's very expensive. But yeah, there's a different way of handling auto maintenance, and it's using drones up here. Yeah, this little fancy thing. Honestly, it looks pretty stupid. I don't know why. It looks like one of those arcade machines, but like the pinball machine. What this thing does is you make the multi-block, place it down, you put some drones in, and that's it. It's working. It has a yeah, it is. I think it has a range of, I forgot, like 128. Yeah, right there. Range is determined by drone tier. Tier 1 is 128. Sorry. And basically anything within 128 range of this machine that has a different hatch this hatch right here. Yeah, this thing called drone downlink module. So this is in range of that multi-block somewhere up there. Anything within it, if it happens to break down, the drone will automatically repair. It's not free though. It's not like fill it with drone once and it's done forever. The drones do rarely break. They're honestly pretty expensive. It's a lot of duct tape. Drones do rarely break. From what I've seen, it only broke like 2 times so far. I don't know. So you do have to fill it with drones here and there, but you know they're not too bad compared to what they do compared to, you know, spamming a bunch of these guys. It's I'd rather take this over that any day. Yeah, essentially these are replacing the maintenance hatch. You don't even need maintenance hatch. This is the new maintenance hatch. You literally just slap it down and that's it. You don't even need to like link it. It does it automatically as long as it's in range. In fact, I can show right now if I just broke that, right? Place it. It takes a little bit though. You gotta wait. We're waiting. Wait a bit more. Oh, there we go. Connected. Yep. So yeah, it's automatically maintained. We don't have to touch it again. You guys haven't been for a while because you've been. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. I've been doing college stuff too. Don't worry, CJ. But yeah, these are really cool. We've been using them a lot. Scorpion's been using them a lot. I haven't been using them too much because I've been lazy. I should probably try to replace everything using that. Especially for flatline stuff, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, they're pretty good. And this thing, I didn't even show the recipe. Compared to this, using the drone downlink module, is far cheaper. It's just like 2 EV things, 1 IV sensor. That's it. Some titanium. Compared to a whole 2 LUV robot arms, which is, oh god, I don't want to know. Yeah, it's very, 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 very worth. Use them because you craft like a stack, yeah. So, yeah, we're almost caught up now. That pretty much completed everything we had to do in LUV. Surprisingly, LUV isn't too long other than that. It's really 3 big parts: Naquadah processing, fusion to get Europium, and then getting the circuit assembly up. Which is even then it's optional, but you kind of need to do it to get better, you know, circuit ratios. But actually, why is this not finished? Oh, that's why. I don't know why that's actually not finished, but yeah. Oh, because we never made the circuit slice for this. We haven't made this yet. Yeah. Main thing was, yeah, those 3. Moving on to ZPM. That's I don't know how to say it. It was shorter than I expected. LUV. I thought we were gonna be in it for much longer. Yeah, like 10 days since last stream. I was like, you know, I was wondering if we're even like able to get fusion within that time, but we've already gotten fusion not too long after and kind of been cruising along. Honestly, the main big thing was getting access to that power boost. Because after that, we were able to start increasing power usage on all our machines, right? Like we were struggling with cooking stuff. That's like not even a worry anymore. Just cook as much as we can. It's kind of weird. Once you get fusion, you stop worrying about energy use. You're more worried about whether you can cook stuff fast enough. It's like you stop worrying about energy. Like I haven't looked at energy consuming for a while now. Like we progress far enough to spam LUV energy hatches on all of these guys now. Yep. So these guys are all cooking at ZPM tier. Even these guys back here. Yep, they're all LUV. And I did scale up the ABS also. Before we only had 1 of these guys. And there was a recipe I wanted to do that had ZPM. So these are actually, this one's actually using ZPM energy hatch, which I'll get to. But yeah, honestly, big boost to our work speed, just getting the power up. And these turbines, we don't even really need them here anymore. I think I've just left it for aesthetic purpose now. But yeah, we're living the good life, you know. Stop worrying about energy and just work towards the next big thing. I don't remember if we... Yeah, we haven't been using the Mega EBF much. It's a big sad. The Volcanus, they're too powerful. Speaking of, yeah, you might have noticed the coils are fancy now. It's yellow. I think since last stream, we have stepped up coil 3 tiers. Yeah, the EBF coils. We were here last time, HSSS. There's a few between. World has grown so much. Yeah. The Naquadah coil. So I've kind of gone over these already. Naquadah alloy is similar to Naquadah, but it's literally just an alloy of Naquadah, trinium, and carbon. And you get 4. So that wasn't too hard to get. Trinium is the next tier. Trinium sounds like something that's fancy, but it's really not. You get trinium by processing deep iron. And I think I had almost access to this last stream. I might have already done it. But it's just IV field generator, which uses ZPM circuits. And you get a good amount. You get 900. I think there's a second thing for it too. Yeah, we're not going to do that yet. Soon though. But we get 1,000-ish ore. Processing that, we get 10% trinium each step. And at the end, when we get the deep iron dust, we can centrifuge from 4 to get 1 extra trinium. That's kind of trash at this point, but we get trinium. And yeah, that's how you get trinium. There's really not much to go about it. We breeze past these coils just to rush this guy. Main thing is, all of these require higher tier circuit assembler, or sorry, normal assembler. So trinium required ZPM. These guys required LUV. And the ZPM one is, you know, not too bad. No, actually this one was pretty bad. There's 2 ways about doing this, is either getting the ZPM assembler. Oh, the thing is, like, you would think, oh, maybe you can overclock this guy, right? This is a multi-block, meaning it can take more than 1 energy hatch. But what's up, Jonathan? The thing about these multi-blocks are they're special in that you cannot overclock them up a tier. So even if I put 2 LUVs on this thing, yeah, jumps. It's weird. It should slow down, but it's not slowing down. We're getting faster. If you toss 2 LUV on this thing, actually this one might. Okay, let's talk about this one. If we toss 2 LUV on this thing, it's not gonna craft the ZPM. It's only gonna craft LUV recipes. So the only way to push these guys above like to ZPM tier recipe, you have to use a ZPM tier hatch. And the thing is, to make ZPM energy hatch, you know. Oh yeah, I guess you can overclock these then, huh? Because otherwise it's not possible. Yeah, the assembly ones you can overclock. But like this one you really can't. So we had to go for this recipe. And it did have a few new things in. Thankfully, not too many new things in. Yeah, the machine hull is surprisingly cheap. It's just iridium. Yeah, in fact, it's so cheap that I made this thing out of ZPM machine casing before we were like far in LUV. It's kind of weird. But I think the main new thing here is, yeah, this thing you have to use ZPM. So we had to start replacing all the main room machines with LUV tier stuff. So like the cutting machine here, for example, we are now using 2 LUV hatches, so it's doing ZPM recipes. It's really weird. A lot of the stuff that we were progressing was just replacing all the old stuff with better energy, right? This is also using Samarium again. It is starting to use Europium though, so yeah, we needed a lot of that. Other than that, it's not too bad, other than this thing. So it's a ZPM part, right? So now it's similar to LUV where you have to start using assembly line for everything, which is kind of why I started scanning for all the ZPM parts. And yeah, that's honestly not too long. It's like 6 minutes each. It's the same. The most annoying part is having to swap between recipes here because yeah, we have a few things out here. It only holds 16, and yeah, these are the most commonly used stuff, which is why I left them in. But with that, we were able to craft all the ZPM stuff, and yeah, they've been using stuff we've already seen at this point. So like Naquadah alloy I just showed. Indium is not too bad at all. It's kind of weird why it's even here, but it's just a mix of Indium, Thaumium, and the pearl dust. And Indium is just tin, silver, platinum. It's really weird. I think they're just there for variance, but it's like that. And then the ZPM motor is where it gets quite expensive, using a lot of Europium wires. Thankfully, these are like 1 to 8 or something. Yeah, 1 to 8. That's not the worst. It is 24 Europium ingots per though. And you did see it's what, 16 molten Europium per fusion recipe? So you need 8 processes per ingot? It's pretty bad. Anyways, yeah. That gets us all the ZPM parts. They're like the only new thing that's really added to the ZPM parts, really. It's just Europium. A bunch. Other than that, yeah, we have access to all the ZPM stuff. And we've been making a few of these guys. I don't think we've made a sensor yet. I did toss in the recipe for it, but also I just saw something interesting. Where was it? Can we make Gravisuit yet? Oh, uranium. We might not be able to make uranium. And titanium. Oh, shoot. Surprisingly, we're not too far from this thing, huh? I think this is Mark II. Yeah, we need Mark II fusion for that. Yeah, uranium and titanium, because this uses uranium too. Yeah. Wow, we're close to getting actual creative flight, you know? Not that, you know, we haven't had creative flight, but... Where was I at? I forgot. Yeah, oh yeah, the energy hatch stuff, so yeah. I pretty much rushed, full-on rushed for ZPM energy hatch. And, you know, it didn't take too long. The only thing was just, you know, waiting till we have enough Europium, waiting till we cooked enough stuff. After that, we just cook ZPM energy hatch. And one of the first thing I did with that is toss it on the ABS. Nothing else but the ABS. And I've already shown it here. This guy, right? The ZPM energy hatch. And the reason I did that was to make a different assembler. So this is the third assembler we have. This thing here. And I can actually show it right here. Yeah, it's this guy here. It's fancy. It's by himself. I don't know why. And yeah, same as every other assembler, just assembler thing, but there's one difference. Unlike the precise assembler, this one can be overclocked. So I have 2 ZPM energy hatch on this, meaning it can do UV recipes. Yes, that's a tier after ZPM. This guy will do UV recipes. Honestly, there wasn't too much reason. Oh, where did the dirt go? Did I just break dirt? That was weird. Yeah, there wasn't too many reason to do this yet. The only thing it really unlocked was one recipe. Well, one was the trinium coil, right? Because this needed CPM. So yeah, we crafted that easily. After that, we started cooking a ton of these guys. We've already made enough to cover 2 full sets of 4x volcanoes. Yeah, they're all flux electrum. The reason I rushed that so hard is because it's so cheap compared to other coils. I don't know why. There's just some random coils that are just cheaper than the other. This was one of them. So I can just quickly show. Oh yeah, also the wire is UV, so that's pretty useful. In fact, it's so useful that we started changing our power source. Main power spine. Oh my god, I can't fly. Wait, what? Is my game bugged? There we go. Yeah, that was kind of weird. Yeah, we changed the main power spine to be UV instead. So we're carrying around, how much is that? 524k times 6. 3 mil EU everywhere. And it just goes back all the way to our battery here, right? Now that's also sending out 64 amps LUV, which we're turning down into 4 amps UV. But yeah, that was one of the cheaper things, and I can actually show the mats now because I haven't shown it yet. Where is it? Yeah, hot flux ingot, ZPM trinium. I think it's only the dust. Yeah, it's only the dust, which is just a mix of astral silver, all this stuff. And almost everything here is stuff we've had before. Naquadah is like one of the only new thing. Everything else, like blue steel, red steel, we've already made a ton before. Sterling silver is like a old thing. Yeah, it's a mix of silver and copper. It sounds new, but they're all really easy. Just thaumium silver for this thing. This is the only hard one, infused gold. I'll get back to that. And then rose gold is just a mix of gold and copper. Everything's so cheap. I don't know why, it's just so random. But infused gold, there's a two-way of doing this. One is you can you can do infusion for 1 infused gold using 4 thaumium dust, which is not expensive. It's just really annoying, right? For 1 ingot. Or infused gold ore, which we get from a soap meteor. Yeah, it's unusual way of getting this thing, but that's how we've been getting our infused gold. It only gives 142. But the thing is, this is a alloy, meaning you get 1 and you turn it into 4. Even though it's only like 142, right? You macerate it down, you get like almost 300. And that turns into almost 1,000 of these things. It's pretty good. 1 meter for 1,000 electrum. Well, not electrum, flux electrum. It's pretty good. So we've pretty much been spamming that recipe just to get the wires all around and the coils. And yeah, that's honestly been a pretty big boost to our cooking speed. Again, a quick recap on EBFs. If you're over a certain heat over the recipe, it'll do a perfect overclock, meaning each like tier up multiplies the recipe speed by 4x. So it's like we're almost getting like exponential crafting speed compared to just 2x. It's pretty insane. What can I cook real quick? I guess something we were struggling to cook before was like maybe tungsten steel. Give me some dust, right? I'll just toss it in here. Let's see how fast it cooks. Okay, honestly, that was slower than I expected, but it's just 1.8 seconds per ingot. But we have 4 of them, so like it cooked like stacked really fast, right? Plus we have 2 sets of 4. So if we need to separate out recipes, which we've been kind of doing, we just do that. But that wasn't the only thing we got an upgrade for our cooking. We haven't really done bees for a while. Larver mentioned it earlier if we've done any bee progression. And yes, bees are quite OP. Like this we had before, right? Just to kind of show like bees can be really good. This one, they're just resurrecting the gunpowder creeper to get infinite XP. But that's not the only thing bees can do, you know? They can also make mats, which I've been way too lazy to do until recently because we've just been running out of a few things too much. Plus, there was this other source of fluid we have not been abusing as hard. So the thing about EBF is, you know, most recipes have... Also, I don't know why that's in there. Most recipes have, for example, tungsten steel, have fluids you can use to shorten the recipe time, right? This one goes from 137 to 125 using nitrogen. Or you can cut it by an even more factor using some other gas. And one of the easier to get gas is called krypton. And it kind of replaces helium completely in EBFs. That's kind of the interesting thing I've seen. So if we look at... I don't know what's a good dust. Maybe flux electrum has it. Oh yeah, it does. So yeah, we can look at the recipe here using helium, right? It uses 54 seconds. Argon is like the next tier of cold gas. That's kind of what I'll call it. I think it's a noble gas. But it keeps lowering it, lowering it, lowering it. And the krypton here is 30 seconds. So if we had access to this thing, you know, we could cut the cooking time by most metal by half the time, which is really good, you know. How do you get things normally though? You know, there's a few ways. So you can either do this really weird thing to get, you know, 1 milliliter. You can distill down some cracked Naquadah gas, which I have no idea what the hell that is. to get a little bit, 16 milliliter out of 1,000. You can distill 100 million liquid air for 114 milliliter of krypton. But there's also, where is it? Oh, it's here. You can get a krypton comb to get a 250 milliliter. What? It's really weird. Krypton B makes, one comb, but it's kind of weird how unbalanced it seems, but that's kind of what I've been going for. So this was our B area before. You may see the alveoles are gone now. In fact, almost the whole top area is empty. These are the same. I've been breeding stuff here and doing stuff. The world accelerators, they're still there. But all the B stuff I did move down here with this new fancy machine. And they're called apiaries, industrial apiary. I think it's the same thing as Gendustry. They just renamed it and rebalanced it. But yeah, these are quite good. And I don't know why I haven't been doing bees up to this point, because I think we had access to this for a while. Just HP robot arm, all the alveolar parts. That's it. I mean, that's really it. This is just circuits. This is just cheaper circuits again. And it looks really fancy. Yeah. So how do these work? Oh god, I don't know where to start. Well, I guess like getting all the bees, right? I've kind of shown before last time too how I got the Stardust bee. I should probably stop this thing, right? Oh yeah, it's already full. But this guy gave us some unique gene we wanted. So this one had Blinding Worker, which has the fastest working speed. That was pretty good. And after last stream, I did go ahead and breed up the perfect bee here. And I'll show it real quick. So this bee, we were close to having this guy last time. I was just missing a few traits. This bee has the shortest lifespan, has the blinding production speed, which I got last time using the Stardust. It has, well, this one doesn't really matter. This one also doesn't matter. I did books because a bookshelf bee kind of sounds funny. It doesn't need a flower, it needs a bookshelf. Fertility 4x, which also doesn't really matter too much. It is good for doing some crossbreeding stuff though, so I gave it that. It also has maxed out tolerance for heat and humidity. So plus up and down 5, so it can pretty much work anywhere. It also has every single good traits, so it works in day, it works in night, it works in rain, it also works underground. And using this bee, you can kinda do some jank work to give it to any bee you want. It's just a little annoying to do, but it is possible. So if I just look at any bee we have down here, yeah, the chrome bee, right? You can see it has all the same traits. Some of them I did get lazy on, where I didn't fully give it all the traits, like fertility 2x. Because like it didn't really matter. Like I really only want the blinding and shortest. Everything else is whatever. As long as it can work. But that's kind of what I've been doing for all the bees here. After breeding them, I'm gonna give them the perfect trait. So we have chrome bee here. I'll just quickly go through them. Chrome, platinum, demonic. I think this one was for glowstone? Yeah. Oh, glowstone and lava. Krypton. That's one of the bees I was just mentioning. Imperial, industrious. These two are the same ones that were up there. I did just make them perfect trait and then move them down here. Titanium, Fluix, Cryolite. I actually have 2 Cryolite, which I'll mention in a bit. Osmium and Dust. Salt. Oh yeah, and Dust is mostly for healing 3. Salt. Salus Mundus. Right, we probably have a decent amount now. Yeah, 65k? Yeah, not too shabby. Salus Mundus, Quantum, and Certus. And yeah, they're pretty good. You may have noticed some of them use, like this one, it says 40 EU per tick up there. I think I can show it here too. Yeah, 40 EU per tick. And that's because they don't have any other upgrades other than just automation, which makes it so it loops the bees. I think I have automation in every single bees here. Yeah, every one of them at least has automation. There are different ways to upgrade these guys. So one of them is using this thing here. And it's basically the same as world accelerators. So this guy here. Except it works in one of these. So this means it basically boosts everything by 16x. You just saw like 16 combs pop up. And each process takes 25 seconds. Compared to 412 seconds. So it's really, really good. But it does increase power cost by a lot. So this one uses 2700 compared to 40. So you can kind of see the power difference, but they are very worth. I did stop at 16x though. So how these are crafted is you use the EV world accelerator and you craft 6. And they're kind of the same all around. So you can use like the next one. The only issue is you can see this one, if you use the LV, the power usage goes up in 1 amp LV, MV is 1 amp MV, and so on. And the kind of the right balance in the cost of spamming these and like the speed and the power cost I've seen, EV has been the best so far. And if I ever needed to, I just made multiple of the bees like this one there, right? So that's kind of at least what I've seen. There's also these production upgrades. But from what I've seen, so you can only stack up to 8. If I hover one of these, it says energy consumption plus 40%. So if I just toss it into one of these guys, so let's see it finish one cycle. I'm going to take out that so it doesn't loop. Okay, it's a little slow. But essentially, it's just not worth. Because its energy consumption is so high, I think it's 40% per one. Yeah, it made 18 and 18. I should probably stop this thing too. 18 and 18. Let's keep that in mind. Right? Let's toss that in now. We can see energy cost goes to 10,000 compared to 2,000. So, like, maybe you'd expect to be that much better, right? If it's like that good. We'll start it again. Let's see how many it makes this time using almost 4 times the power. Yeah, it is 4 times the power. Come on. It's a little slow. It'll get there. Let me clean up my inventory while that's doing that. Alright, it's almost finishing up. It's only like not even double. 18 to 29. It's really bad compared to its power cost increase. So that's kind of why I've not been using these things. Instead, just leaving it at like the bare minimum almost. So just in case anyone was wondering, that's why I've not been doing that. Let me turn this guy on again. Oh, I might have to start it manually again. There. Yeah, these guys have been going. They're pretty crazy though. Like you already saw, this one makes almost 1 comma a second. It's like 18 to 25. They're all going. Yeah, Krypton is one of the good ones, right? It's also 35% chance. I think the chances do matter. Yeah, so this one's 30%, 30%. And this one's a little higher, so it'll make that many more. So 35 over 30, I don't know how much that is. Like, I don't know. It probably makes roughly like 20 combs per process. Let's see it. Oh yeah, 19. So it is a little more, right? So the percentage do matter. And same as before, some bees. So this one is kind of fine, right? It has production up there. Some of them has them in the special slots. And it's different per bee. So this one's fine. This one's probably also fine. Oh yeah, this one's not fine. This one has a special thing here. Almandine, thankfully, is something I don't need. If I wanted it though, you'd see it says needs preferred climate at the bottom. And if I look at the bee here, it says hot and arid. That means it has to have hot and arid to make combs that are down there, right? And the thing about these are that they have upgrades to change temperature and so on. So I shouldn't have sorted this, that was an accident. Yeah, this thing here, it turns temperature down like 12% or so on. And some of the bees, I have those upgrades. Yeah, this one here. This guy's finicky, osmium bee. So there's osmium and iridium down there. This guy needs cold and arid. What I've done here is I put 3 temperature downs and 3 humidity downs. That way it's cold and arid. The info thing does show them nicely though, so it's kind of easy to do. And it's per apiary, so like everything here has a normal. I think because we're in a normal biome, the magical forest. So I just start adjusting from there. Most bees are normal though. Plus they don't really have specialty. So thankfully, you know, I haven't had to change most of these guys down here, right? Yeah, this one was finicky and so on. But the thing is, you know, these upgrades, they're not too expensive. Like this one just uses World Accelerator. Yeah, these aren't really too bad. It's really just a bit of old circuit stuff. And this is just diamond and copper and so on. Really cheap, right? Thing is, I don't know why these upgrades especially have one special item in them. It's this thing here. The other one's similar. That Trial has this thing too. In fact, I can just show the whole thing. I gotta drink some water. My throat's hurting. Sorry, I probably gotta take some medicine after. Yeah, these things, they're not too friendly to make. They use iridium comb, uranium comb, osmium, and LUV motor. We didn't even have access to this thing before LUV, which is quite crazy. And yeah, it's also iridium and palladium, but thankfully we had a bunch of those. So, 3 things, these combs. Thankfully iridium, you know, not too bad. This guy also makes it, but I also did make the iridium B. Uranium, on the other hand, is a little annoying. Do I have a bee? Yeah. So there's a special breed of bees. Oh yeah, true. Production upgrades are cheap. It's just world acceleration is way better. There's a special breed of bees that break blocks nearby. If you're ever playing this pack and you go into bee breeding, watch out starting here. Vindictive. Beware. These bees not only hate everything, they even hate blocks. Put their bee housing far away from everything. Yeah. Vindictive, vengeful, avenging, uranium, plutonium. I think all those break blocks nearby. Like, really badly. Even machines. In fact, one of our apiaries have been lost to them. I was not careful. I put that bee here for breeding. It started eating away all the blocks in this range. I did repair most of it, but it was not good. Like, the ceiling was looking like this. Like, holes everywhere. It was that bad. It was really not good. I did notice it's somewhat fast though. At least fast enough to not destroy this whole chunk. Probably would have had to back up if that happened, but yeah. There's probably still some remaining damages here. Yeah, the main thing is these LCRs were one of the things that got taken out. Like there were missing blocks in the middle here and there. That was a big pain. Scorpion. I did breed the uranium bee in the end though. We just put it a little far away. A little. I'm kind of surprised I even remember where it was. Yeah, this guy right here. This little son of a guy. Yeah. That was the only thing I needed the uranium bee for, by the way. That and plutonium bee. But with those 2 upgrades, we did get access to just, you know, using these upgrades. Yeah, even though they're, you know, kind of expensive using LUV, they're still big worth having. Just so you don't have to do some Elviry shenanigans to control temperature and heat. We pretty much skipped the entire Elviry process. Like, we only had to, you know, just get these guys going. That was really it. No Elviries really set up. I did set up temporarily here, but I took it down within the same day because I was like, why am I just not using IA apiaries, right? But yeah, these guys have been really crazy good. They're all sending items to these drawers here. We can just go through them real quick. Like, yeah, this one's not much, but Casual bit of titanium comb. Now, I did process most of them, so we have like 42,000 titanium dust. 43,000 ITNT. We stopped it at one point. We would have had way more if I didn't. That skip is huge. Yeah, dude, for real. Honestly, I feel like skipping the whole Alviri setup is worth. There's not too many bees you really need before, too. Like, really. And then a bunch of Salus Mundus, which we saw. The only reason I kind of made that bee was because we can dupe nether stars with it. Yeah, using null catalyst. And then, oh yeah, a bunch of quartz. I set this thing up like a day ago, 2 days ago. You can kind of see how much it's made since. Yeah, pretty good. We don't really have to craft these anymore. A bunch of other stuff. Yeah, 135k glowstone. We were running out before. Oh yeah, Samarium. There's a Samarium bee. We were getting 13,000 Samarium dust. And I put that bee away already because, yeah, we're not using that much Samarium at all. And a bunch of salt and other goodies. And one of the other goodie is platinum comb. And that kind of process into platinum too. It doesn't give you straight platinum. It does, well, it's not much, but it does. But it gives you this fluid, which is what's used to go in the plat line. That's pretty good. But yeah, it's been really well. In fact, we have 16,000 platinum dust, so you can see that's going well. Yeah, bees are pretty good. If I see a bee that has something I want, at this point, I'm pretty much gonna go for it. And you can kind of see all the bees I had to go through here. They're a bit laggy to look at. This one, oops, I went down on accident. This one was like the main bee chest. When I look at it, my FPS drops to 30. Yeah, it's got all the bees, pretty much, that I wanted to get. In fact, there's one bee I want here today. Because, one of the bigger thing we need to progress soon is upgrading our blood magic, which we have not done since the first time we set this up pretty much. And for that, I'm gonna need Hydra Bee. Yes. I don't think I have the princess, right? No. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Oh, I think this guy's like really finicky on temperature though. Yeah, he needs Hellish and Arid. Thankfully he has +4 and 1. I might need to... You know what? Let's quickly show the progress of setting up a perfect bee. And it really doesn't take too long. I should at least show it once. It's kind of interesting. So we have this perfect set of drones, right? So these have all the traits I want. And then we have this Ocean Princess. And the reason I'm using Ocean Princess is because there's a cheap quest that gives you 4 princess for free. I'll just toss it in this drone. I'm going to turn on the accelerator. And we'll just flick this lever. That way, this guy keeps cycling on and on. And what this is doing is I'm pretty much turning this princess into the same traits as this guy. And we'll know when it's finished when it's like that, right? It's making the same drones only. So we'll turn that off. We'll pull out everything. I'm gonna just trash everything else. The only thing I care about is the princess. So this guy has the perfect traits. This is the bee we want. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So now this guy has mix of both. So mix of Hydra and the mix of perfect traits. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave those there. I'm gonna take those again. I'm gonna breed them again. I don't know if this is the best way of doing it, but this is what I've been doing. So we have a mix of perfect and Hydra. Right? So I'm gonna just quickly look through. So yeah, this one seems good. Let's see. I'm gonna take one of these. This one seems good. So this one has Hydra, perfect traits, and all the goodies here, right? Well, it's not perfect, but it's close enough. And this guy's back to being perfect trait again on the queen. So actually, I'll just leave that in my inventory. Let's just take that out. What I'll do is I'll just breed these two now. So the perfect traits and the mix of Hydra and the perfect. We get it like that. I can probably trash all those now. And then I'll just quickly look through them. We only got one, which is a little unlucky. Hopefully I don't get too unlucky here. I'm gonna mix them and get more drones out of it. There's a few breeds here, so I can trash all these old ones. So there's these two, which have Hydra and Rocky. I'm gonna mix them up. And I'm trying to look for the perfect traits. And I don't really know the formula behind it. All I've been really doing is if I see the traits I want on both drone and queen, I try to breed them. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into it because it's probably too confusing to do. Yeah, so these are almost perfect. This one's pretty much, it's only missing the 5 on climate, but we shouldn't really need to go for super perfect. So I'm going to say that's good enough. These are close. Let's look at the second traits. So these two are good. I'm just using num key so I can look at them faster without dragging my mouse. I'll just breed these two. I'll save that one. Trash all the other ones. Yeah, you can see the queen, the princess is getting closer to the traits we want. It's just missing a few things right now. Then the drones. That one has Noah, so I might not want to do that one. So these two are pretty decent. This one seems almost... This is exactly the one we want. So it has all the good traits here. It has everything here. The only bad thing is the climate, but again, we don't need it to be perfect. As long as it's close enough, it's good enough. So I'll just do that twice here. Scorpion! He broke something. What? This is not good. What did bro do? It's upside down, you... It's upside down! How did you make it upside down? Oh, it's not even upside down, it's sideways! Oh my god, man. This guy. Let's see. Yeah, this one seems... Yeah, that should be it. If I do this too, should make 4 drones of one type. Yep. And they should do it again. I took the controller. You know, I'm gonna place it down there. Can't believe that just happened. Okay, but yeah, essentially, Scorpion crashes the server, and oh no, I don't know if the server auto restarts. Well, there we go. That's how you get the perfect B of any type you want. Possible emergency situation. Let's see if true forts are available. How did you even crash the server? That's a sick bee breeding setup, yeah. I don't even know the formula between like the active and inactive B. I'm sure there's some really interesting way they mix, you know, going from princess to the drone, but I have been too lazy to look into that, you know. But I found my way of doing it, so that's how I've been doing it. It's not too bad. I did at least tag True for it. Let's see if he's available. You know, until then, let's hop on single player just to talk. So yeah, bees are good. We're getting a lot of resources from there. Because like we've been struggling on like titanium and stuff, but I love this game. Yeah, I don't know why. Single player always closes once before it boots up fine. Yeah, I've been also messing around on single player for a few things. This is kind of a funny setup, by the way. The thing I showed earlier. You can build 4 next to each other like this, and they wall share perfectly fine. Well, I didn't maintain those ones. But yeah. Just a meme I was testing around. So yeah, let's look at the quest book. Just talk about a few progress things. Yeah, we pretty much finished LUV. ZPM we did start, and we haven't gotten too far into it. The main thing we've been doing is again getting the assembler up for UV recipes. I did still make the ZPM assembler though, just so I could actually make the ZPM energy hatch stuff. Oh, the server's already starting. Okay, nice. And yeah, other than that, it's really just normal basic thing. Oh, server shut down immediately? Oh no. That's not looking good. Scorpion! Well, but yeah, I would have liked to show what we're gonna work towards next, but we'll see if server can show up again. Let's see. I think Scorpion did at least craft this thing. It's all some crazy endgame starting stuff. I have no idea what they do though. I think there's something like a research station too. So if I look at what's some crazy endgame recipe, like space elevator. Yeah, it doesn't use scanning anymore, right? So like the LUV parts, for example, you have to scan IV parts to get the data for it, right? To craft it. We have to make another new thing to scan it instead. Oh, you're gonna use the active transformer? Okay. I don't know what crashed though, but hopefully it's not an infinite crash loop. Yeah, I don't know how accessible this is. It actually looks like we can make it right now. Oh, we actually need some UU matter. That's kind of funny. Not much though, just 1,000. Yeah, you have to scan some scanner for it. That's kind of meme. Oh yeah, this looks fancy. Computer casing. I think I read like this thing can explode too or something weird. Maybe not. No, I might be confusing it with something else. Yeah, I don't know how this works. I think it's just same as scanner but multi-block now. Those numbers look scary though. Where there's so much numbers. Oh my god, some of them are power hungry. Minimum computation. It's like scanner that has a progress built into it. So it needs 48,000 and it does that many per second. Interesting. I don't know about this much. I'll probably let Scorpion set it up, you know? Oh yeah, a lot of these are giga power hungry. Yeah, it looks like server's on a crash loop. It's doomed. The worst possible timing. Oh man. Well, thankfully I wasn't doing too much, but I don't know if we have a backup that's kind of recent. We'll see. I don't remember when I backed up last. Like a day ago? Yeah, that's looking pretty bad though. I'll wait for one more restart, and if it crashes again, I might have to end the stream early. Oh no. I don't know what else to do. It's really, really bad. No good. Not a good situation. Ah, yeah, let's just sit here for a bit, just chatting. Just looking through the recipe book at this point. We were getting close to MK2 though, Fusion. It probably does auto backup, but Truefort's not here right now. He's the one who has access to server, so he'll probably have to look at it. Yeah, Mark II Fusion, I think there wasn't too many extra things. So yeah, this is the coil we saw earlier with that. The only difference is it uses this instead of those 32 coils, so it's just an upgraded version using just a lot of circuits, which we made a ton before. Okay, that looks pretty annoying. Wow. A lot of graphite, decent amount of iridium. That's not the worst. What else? Oh yeah, and the fusion machine casings, where was it? Oh yeah, right there. So I think it needed 79 minimum fusion machine casing. Oh yeah, and it's just another upgrade version kind of LU machine casing. We just coat it with some HSS stuff. So yeah, that's honestly pretty cheap. I bet we're only really missing a few things for the fusion coil. It'll take 2x the power, but the recipe will go 2x faster. Fusion overclocking is different than normal GT. Oh, just straight up to it, okay. Okay, server just crashed again. I just saw it boot up and crash. No! No. Well, let's just quickly go through because I think the next thing we're gonna work on probably is Mark II Fusion. I did talk about us going towards Blood Magic upgrade. The main thing I was gonna work towards was I'll just talk about it because it seems like we're might be ending the stream soon if server's not coming up, but yeah, I really wanted to go towards tier 6 altar, which means I had to work towards getting Icorium and also upgrading my wand. And I think most of these are pretty cheap. Yeah, it's just really annoying but cheap. Oh god. How many players? There's 2 of us that are really active, one who's relatively kind of active, and one who's helped us a lot early game, but hasn't been active. There's 4 total. But yeah, we are getting close to tier 6 altar. I think main thing I have to work towards is the Icorium now. Which, oh god, I don't want to do Icorium. That sounds like giga pain. I think there is an Icorium ore, but we can't get it. Yeah, it's Space Elevator. There might be a different way to get Icor that I'm missing. Oops, I didn't mean to click that. Shit, can't I see it here? Ah, UU matter. Yeah, I don't know if we're going for this recipe. That is an option though. 190,000 for one. There is a multi-block for this, which has a ton of peril, but I don't know if it's worth it. Maybe. I think we did need to do UU matter anyways in the near future. Yeah, some UV stuff uses it. There's also some interesting recipes here. That could be nice. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's such an awful rate. black plutonium. Yeah, this is also one of the things. Magic essence. I think you can grow this thing. I'll have to ask Scorpion. He might know. I have no idea what crops plus plus is. I assume it's like extra crops for IC2. Bob's your uncle berry. What? Oh, these only use a few liters. Interesting. That's kind of cool. Ooh, that's kind of fancy. Okay, okay. So there's some uses. But yeah, I would have need Icorium because I think... What's it called? If I search Void, I'll know it. Yeah, this thing. Blood-soaked. Yeah, blood-soaked Icorium is the altar for tier 6 altars. So we need a ton of Icorium. Oh, and there's the recipe. Yeah, that's for Icorium block. I actually don't know the normal way of crafting Icorium. We can kind of look at it in single player. Do we craft the dust? Gee, that's weird. Why can't I find recipe for Icor? Ichor. I don't know how it's pronounced. You know what? Let me search that really. Pronounce Icor.
Icor.
Oh, that's correct. Okay, Icor. Let's see. Is it this thing? Oh, it is this thing. Wait, that's pretty cheap. The only bad thing is getting the research for it. How do you make the ingot out of this thing though? Arrgh. Osmiridium. Wow, that's pretty annoying to spam, huh? And you need a decent amount for the block too. Oh, and it already makes you do all the blood magic stuff before, huh? Yeah. Yeah, the demon guys from the blood magic. Stupid town you gotta build. Okay. Well, seems like server is crash looping, so I guess this is the end for today's stream. Really sad because it's been a while. A very short stream for today. Let's see. I might be able to stream again recently though. Like not as long, like 10 days. It might be only like maybe this week's Friday, possibly. Yeah, maybe Friday. We'll see. I'll try to give an earlier notice on Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, it's in the description of the video. But yeah, it's gonna have to be a short stream today. Can't even play. Um, Thankfully I did show most of the progress. I have done like few progresses other than... Oh, I haven't even shown the top part of the base. We're building a big area for the new stuff. I don't think I fully showed it on the stream, so it'll be a mystery till next time. Well, I am building more to it though, so we'll definitely see it when it's done. It's gonna look pretty cool. It's already looking pretty decent on the top area, but we're gonna start moving a few things there. Cause yeah, we're running out of space where we're building right now, like the lab and stuff. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next stream. Yeah, again, join the Discord if you haven't. Notifications there. And yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about the short stream again. Gonna end it here. But yeah, thank you guys. Peace. See you next time. No.